bringing you the views and insights of Gina Abercrombie-Winstanley, US diplomat and Middle East analyst. Thanks very much indeed, Gina, for taking the time. How unusual is it for a president's own advisers to be uncertain and in the dark about his intentions in a conflict of this magnitude? Good morning.
Well, good morning to you. And I would say that is unusual and not entirely sure that that's the case. As we know, he's been taking a great deal of counsel, hearing from his advisors, including the Vice President, the Secretary of State, and his favorite members of Congress, including Lindsey Graham.
From your experience, how is this mixed messaging and this flip-flopping, this erratic narrative that we're getting from President Trump? 1 minute he's thinking of pulling out, it's all been done, we have the best military in the world. The next minute he wants to obliterate them and he wants the help of European allies. It's not just mixed messaging, it's diametric self-contradiction. How is this being interpreted by leaders in the Middle East? I mean, they've never faced an individual like this before, I don't think.
Yeah, I believe that leaders in the Middle East, as well as the rest of the world, certainly American citizens, are used to the word salad coming from the president. We're used to his ego. We're used to his hyperbole. And I think everyone does a discount on that and waits to see where the real, solid pearls of intent or action fall out. But, he has a big journey ahead of him tonight because, as we know, the majority of Americans don't support the war. And he's got to make us understand what has he been doing? How is it worth it? And is it over? And if it's not over now, what do 2 more weeks get the American people and the American military?
And how do you feel that America's approach, Donald Trump's approach, and therefore the approach of the US military, has strengthened or weakened its position with long-standing allies in that region?
Yeah. Well, I believe that the military will always be lauded because the political leadership sets out the goals. They gave the military very specific goals about decapitation, taking out the top layer of leadership, with the political expectation that that would be sufficient. But the military is not responsible for the political side. So he will say wonderful things about the U.S. military, the effectiveness of it, the lethality of it, etc. And I think most Americans will accept that. This war has clearly gone on longer than expected. So that we hear that certain weapons systems are running low, and that is to be expected. After we get through the military, then there is the political side of it. And there is where the American people have massive questions and a great deal of skepticism. So I'm going to be listening intently. I have my doubts, but he has given all of us such, as I said, a word salad of what is happening and why, that he's given himself maximum flexibility to continue the war or to come home tomorrow and declare victory.
Indeed, whatever victory looks like. And of course, that's a very fluid benchmark, isn't it, in any conflict. We're seeing the same thing with Mr. Putin in Ukraine. What would victory look like? What would be acceptable to the people at home? Are you seeing signs of any long-term strategy? Or is the US policy simply to react in real time, sometimes hour by hour, not just day by day, to events as they unfold?
If I were speaking about the Secretary of State, I would say there would be a long-term policy. Mr. Rubio has been involved in foreign affairs and policy making via Congress for a long time. The president, however, I would not be surprised if there isn't a long-term policy. He is often after quick wins, quick deals, making it work and moving on. And we can see, even as he was supposed to be talking about Iran at a press conference, I think it was yesterday or the day before, we got the ballroom discussed as well. So, no, I wouldn't say that that's the president's strong suit, but he does have advisors, many of them personal friends, not necessarily experienced or knowledgeable about the region, but he does have advisors around him.
And, I mean, just finally, as we await the president's address fairly shortly, what are the key signals that you'll be looking for to determine whether there is now a coherent plan for the future? We know he's on script, but he's famous for going completely off script and going off on tangents of tangents of tangents. He's meta in many ways. What are you looking for to get some sort of surety, not just for the people of the US, the US military, but for allies who will be listening intently across the world?
Yeah. I will be looking to hear a definitive closeout date or what the circumstances are that will allow a definitive closeout date, number one. I will be listening to hear whether we intend to leave our allies in the lurch in the region. Our partners in the Gulf have taken huge hits because they stood by us, and they are our partners. They do host our bases. What are we going to do about them being left with an angry bear if indeed this war ends quickly with Iran? And I'm going to be listening to hear what he says about NATO, and keeping in mind, even if he decides tomorrow that he wants to leave NATO, he cannot do it before a year. There's a year waiting period, grace period for diplomacy and logistics and changes of mind. So those are the three main things that I'm going to be listening for.
Very good of you to take the time to talk to us this morning, this evening.